Sewansecott by Ryan Nelson. In 2003, I moved to Ohio to take care of my grandfather. He was a pilot in the war and contracted an epidemic in Japan, which would ultimately take his life many years later. I put everything on hold to make him comfortable. I had a good job at a mill farm in western Pennsylvania and a Korean girlfriend named Sue. A green Xbox. But I loved my grandfather. Several weeks before he passed, he gave me his raincoat from the war. It still had all the medals on it. He looked at me with his tired eyes and said, "On a rainy day, you'll think of me." The day he died, I was wearing his raincoat in the shower, and I got this weird feeling, like a premonition. I got out and went downstairs and found him on the couch, eyes closed, not breathing, this little grin on his lips and a hard-boiled egg in his hand. It was over. I made arrangements for his funeral, which would take place on a small patch of land he picked out about 15 miles northwest of Columbus in the woods. Everyone showed up. We played old-time music and dressed as flappers. There were hot toddies and a jug band. It was a celebration of his life. After the funeral party, my brother invited me to come back with him to Virginia, where he lived with his wife. It would be good for me. I was tired and needed the break. My brother and his wife lived in a cabin on the warm coast of Sewansecott, Virginia. They were avid hikers and kayakers. She made her own jams and was an expert botanist. He studied birds and knew everything about the sea and squirrels. They had a dock behind their cabin, and one rainy morning I joined my brother on his morning kayak trip. I met him on the dock at sunrise. It was a light rain. The air was salty and fresh. I had the raincoat on, and the metals flapped and shimmered with the autumn breeze. He took me out about a mile off the coast. At one point, he stopped and was smiling. He was ahead of me and reached his hand into the water. He pulled something out and called me next to him. I paddled up to his right and saw he was holding some kind of shell. An oyster. I had seen them in books, but never in the wild. He got his shucker from his water bag and pried it open. He pulled a lemon from his pocket. Before I could even say anything, he handed me the oyster. His eyes lit up. I never had an oyster before, and somehow he knew it. He always just knew things. He was Martin and I was Steve. I was nervous and excited, and my mind was racing. Then the thoughts quieted, and I saw Grandpa. On a rainy day, you'll think of me. I closed my eyes and sucked the oyster from the shell, taking in every salty drop. I swished it around my mouth. Medium brine, low salinity. My body was completely relaxed, and I felt this weird feeling on my lips. It was a smile forming. I was smiling. I thought of the tire swing in the backyard of our childhood home, the day my brother scared the bear away, my sister's first kiss with Ronnie Klein underneath the bleachers as I caught the winning pass. I opened my eyes and my brother was gone. I sat there alone, rocking back and forth for several hours, grinning, remembering. I never saw my brother or his wife ever again, but I'll never forget that day. That rainy day, and that taste, that Sewansecott oyster. $12.